So hi guys, I'm Piyush Kishore Saha and today I'm with Vishrup Sahu and Mr. Rajat. He's from ASU. He pursued his masters from Arizona State University, and today we'll be having the podcast with him. And we are very thankful to him that he joined us, and he's sharing his experience of masters in the United States with all of us. So first of all, welcome Rajat. We are very happy to have you here.
Thanks, Piyush and Biswarup. Yeah, it's my pleasure. We discussed about this, and I'm really glad we are doing this.
Great. So let us start this podcast video with your introduction. Tell us about you and your profile.
Yep. I don't want this to be go in a formal interview process where they ask me
Yeah,
tell about this.
No.
it's just
So
a casual conversation with us, nothing else.
yeah, definitely. So a bit about myself. Basically started with bachelor's in engineering. Was confused between electrical and electronics, to be honest, and chose electrical. While pursuing, I was not even sure or aware that I would go into renewable systems in my first year. So just coming down the lane, it was I just realized power systems or renewable systems is my field, and I pursued my master's in the same field from Arizona State University. I got my bachelor's from PES University, Bangalore. And straight after that, I had a couple of project experiences in my bachelor's, and in my master's, I had a couple of internship experiences. It was a great experience there in my master's with variety of industry experience, because I worked at a couple of places, not just one. That being said, that's my technical expertise there in renewable systems. Apart from that, I also am like to work on sustainability, mainly energy and sustainability. When I say that, it's a very broad concept because you have sustainability in every other domain, say food, automobiles. Every industry has its own energy and sustainability sector. But mine is focused on energy systems. So mainly on renewables and sustainable buildings, sustainable business strategies is what my particular interests are. That's a part of my background, and to kind of give a conventional touch to that interest, I kind of doing a master's certificate from Harvard Business School in sustainable business strategies. And that's about my how my resume kind of looks there. But apart from that, what's not in my resume is I love to sing. I'm a trained musician for almost more than 10 years. So I love to sing. I love to play instruments. I play keys. I kind of play guitar, very amateur guitar, and I sing. I mainly sing. We had a band in my bachelor's, and that was fun. At ASU, kind of got a bit less touch towards music because of the workload, but still, yeah, I do sing, and I love trekking. I love going to long drives. I love watching movies. I watch a lot of movies, and yeah, I like to do something. Once I'll tell you, this is an honest thing. Once you're done out of masters, you feel like, okay, now what next? Because you'll be working, and you start working, say 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the end of the day, you'll be like, okay, what next? Because it's not your usual masters or bachelors where you have huge workload and you have deadlines. So there comes a question, okay, what next? And you have to do something to keep yourself busy, and not get bored with the daily routine of yours. So that's where I hunt down all these courses, or I sketch, I sing, I go to treks, I go to drives. I love to cook. Yeah, that's one thing that people should know, I guess.
Okay. So before applying to ASU, you must have appeared for the examinations, some of the examinations like GRE or IELTS. You remember the score? If you can, please tell
Yeah,
us.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's not a thing to, nothing not to be disclosed kind of things. My GRE score
Okay.
was 305.
Oh,
I would say not a high AM score, but a pretty decent score. My TOEFL was, I guess, 98 or something, 98. Um,
okay.
yeah. So I'll be pretty honest. I was not happy with my GRE score. So I had almost planned to write it again, and then I thought I was pretty much my timeline was pretty tight because I gave my GRE in my um, seventh semester. So I had just one semester gap in which in my final semester I had to start applying, and had a couple of personal commitments, and I didn't have enough time to give exam again, try and prepare, and I wasn't sure I was going to get again about 310 or 315, which is usually the aim. So what I thought was I had a strong profile. I was very confident on my profile. So I was like, okay, anyways, my profile can back me up if my score is down. Because what happens usually is with my research, I got to know that if you have an average GRE score, that's more than enough for you to get into the university. Apart from that, you have to have a really good profile to back it up. So that kind of worked, I guess. So yeah, those are my scores.
Nice.
Wow. So can you tell us about how many universities you have applied and which universities you have specifically applied rather than ASU?
Yeah, that was actually a long process. Let me tell you, I guess many people ask me this question when it comes to finalizing universities or applying to universities. They go for consulting services,
Yes.
and trust me, when I did go to one, and I wasted my money because I wasn't sure about it. Nobody was there to guide me, like how you people are doing this online platform, or back then we had to do online research, go Google ahead, and then when you're in final year or with a lot of workload, you'll be like, okay, let's give it to consultancy services. They're going to give us a list of universities, and it's going to be pretty easy for us. But trust me, guys, if you want to shortlist universities or do a research and get to know which universities you want to get into, do not go to consultancy services. Please, they are gonna rip you off with 30K or 40K rupees. They call it a complete package. They help you with applications, shortlisting, and visa interviews is what they actually say. But all they do is you fill up a questionnaire form, and then you produce it to them, and then they are just going to generally give you a random list of universities. Honestly, from the list of universities which they gave to me, I hardly applied for one or two, because when I
So it
made
was a
my
complete waste
research.
of money.
Exactly, it's a complete
Yes.
waste of money. So, it's rather better or more helpful to talk to a few seniors, like how you guys are doing. Hunt seniors down on
Yes.
LinkedIn or from relatives or friends, mutual friends, and talk to them. That's gonna save you a lot and give you a lot more information than what the consultancy services do. I'm not against the services, but it's what my experience is. The list they
Obviously.
give doesn't
When
help
you
at
can
all.
network with people and you can get that thing, then why you are wasting 30,000 or 40,000 just to do that thing, and which is not
Exactly.
even you know it will not
Yeah,
even
that's
work
true.
properly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did my research, and I wasn't very happy with the list they gave me. And so I came up with my own short listing of universities, and I applied to ASU, I applied to University of Southern California, I applied to UIUC,
Oh, great.
Urbana-Champaign, NYU. Uh, Honestly, my dad was like, okay, apply to Harvard, Stanford, MIT, give it a try. I mean, what's wrong in giving it a try?
Yes.
Uh, I agree to his point to such an extent, because um, you never know. If your profile is good, a lot of people, there are few people where they think, okay, I can get into Stanford, I can get into MIT, and then they confidently apply. And there are other people where they have a very good profile, but they don't have confidence to apply. That lies. So I'll tell them, okay, see, if you have a very good profile and there's no wrong in applying. And who knows, because in your batch, maybe there are not enough applicants, maybe they don't have anyone with your particular background and they might take you in. You never know. So if you feel that your profile is somewhere, crossing that average mark, then I would suggest you to go ahead and apply. It's not as ambitious. I mean, you're going to lose maybe 5K, 5,000 rupees for application, but you're going to gain a lot more once you get into.
Yes.
So that,
Right.
yeah, so that's a pretty much low risk factor. So you can definitely apply. And I applied to Texas A&M, Texas Dallas, and then I actually regret not applying to NCSU. I didn't apply to NCSU. My research was not well enough for my energy systems. But yeah, I was glad. These are the universities I applied, not many. And I was glad I got into ASU. I got into NYU with a scholarship. I got into USC.
So how much amount of scholarship you got in NYU?
NYU, I got per semester, they told me they would give, I guess it was $2,000 scholarship per semester with a teaching assistant or something. They said it's a teaching assistant or a research assistant. With that position, they said they would give a $2,000 scholarship. That was what the deal was. But I got these admits. I got Texas Dallas as well, which I guess pretty much everybody does get admitted to. And I was in a very confused state which one to choose now.
Yes, you got so many admits.
Yeah, I mean, I guess pretty much many people do get these admits, but for me, the main confusion was I wanted to get into renewable energy systems, and I was very particular on that factor, not the scholarship or not the location, but not the job opportunities, but I was very particular on what the curriculum is, what the professors are, and what kind of exposure in that particular area, narrowed down to renewable systems, you're going to get in these universities. So I started hunting down. I started again, in-depth research of these universities, try to contact the professors, try to look at the laboratories, the facilities, the research they're doing. And also they have a few organizations, particularly for energy systems, renewable energy systems. So such organizations, what are they backed up? Are they funded? Are they federally funded? Are they state funded? So all these research I was doing. And this was my first priority. I mean, when deciding an university, so this was my first point. And the second point was cost of living. What's it going to cost me, the tuition fee and the cost of living and the location. And then the third thing was job opportunities, which I was pretty much not really bothered about, because when you come to the US, you apply online and you can apply anywhere in the United States. It's not like career fairs, but it's a very rare chance for you to get a full-time job from the career fair, because they mainly aim for citizens and they mainly aim for undergrads.
Okay.
So
why did you
that was my
choose
third.
ASU mainly, specifically for?
Yeah. So in
Because
these 3 points which I mentioned,
and UT Dallas, they also have a quite good course structure on renewable energy.
Yeah. On UIUC, I didn't get an admit. I got a reject from UIUC.
Okay.
And UTD, I was very sure that UTD wasn't that great for renewable systems. UTD is really great for VLSI design, which I still believe after coming here, I realized that. And so UTD was a straight no. NYU, I rejected it because it didn't have a great renewable program as compared to ASU and USC. Upon that, the second point was really highlighting for NYU the living cost and the tuition. I saw the university is literally in the New York City, like it's been divided on either sides of Brooklyn Bridge. So you're really in the city, in the crowded area with a lot of expenses, living expenses, and you have to give a lot of tuition fee. And that kind of, made me decide, okay, rule out NYU, even when they gave me a scholarship. And then USC and ASU. This was a huge confusion for me. I guess I decided the very nth moment to go for ASU, and I feel I'm lucky, and I'm pretty glad I did that, because when I was ready to choose USC, I made friends in USC because I was almost moved to go to USC, because there is this word from mouth to mouth saying USC is a great university. It has a lot of job opportunities, and the living cost is high, but it's a very good university, is what usually people say. And it's a really good university. That's how the picture is actually. When you're back in India, you don't know the difference. So I was almost into USC. I joined WhatsApp groups. I got many friends who got the admits, and I also joined ASU groups. I got many friends over there. So I was totally confused because I wasn't sure which one I'm gonna go to, and I was parallelly continuing both of them. And then one fine day, I just chose ASU, and I'm very happy to, I'm lucky to do that, because today, if I go back and contact my USC friends, they are literally cribbing about their decision to go to USC, because those people, they had also got ASU admit, but they chose USC over ASU.
Oh.
And USC honestly has a really, really bad renewable energy program. Do not apply to USC if you want to go to renewable energy, because they literally do not have courses. They, even if you want to learn something, they do not offer courses, and the class strength is like 40 or 50. And then if you say renewable energy systems, so ASU has a course called Renewable Energy Power Systems. Say you want to learn something about that in USC, literally don't have a course for that. I talked to my USC friends even today, and they literally crib, and they're like, we don't have internships because we don't have proper courses. We haven't studied solar systems, or we haven't studied wind turbines completely. We haven't designed them. There are no labs. There are hardly two professors. I forgot the name, but there are hardly two professors in USC who really back up the renewable energy program, but not all of them. So renewable energy is really bad at USC. That's the personal experience my friends have faced, and then they really envy me for choosing ASU and then getting into ASU. And then that brings me down to ASU, and ASU has a really good renewable energy program. If you go to their website, they have at least 7 to 10 professors who are really good at what they do. And they're not just focused in one area. We have really great professors in power electronics, power systems, especially even in what are these FATS devices, AC transmission, HVDC transmission, all these even narrowed down fields of renewable sector. We have a professor for each one of them, and they are pretty good professors. They are not amateur like assistant professors or something, but they are really 30 years or 35 years experienced professors, and they are really famous all over the United States and all over the world. If you're going to speak about renewable energy systems in any of the conferences, because I have personally attended conferences at many places. Yeah. If you're going to just take their name, then everybody's going to recognize you. And or else if you're going to just say you are from ASU, everyone is going to just ask you the same question. Oh, did you take that professor's course, or did you take this professor's course? Because yeah, they are really famous, and they're really good at what they do. They get huge funds from government. They do run many government projects as well. So they are pretty famous. And that's why ASU has a really good renewable energy program.
Wow, that's really great. And we have also seen that ASU has one of the best entrepreneurship clubs in USA.
Yep, that's true. We have a really active entrepreneurial club, and one more thing is we have a lot of organizations, like most of the colleges do, but here they spend a lot of money. Since it's a state university, we have huge funds coming in, and there are few organizations where we kind of pay from our tuition fees. We just pay $10. Every student pay $10, and then this goes to a fund which is called a GPSA fund, and then they have literally collected millions of dollars just for supporting, backing up these clubs and organizations. So we are huge, heavily funded, and that kind of helps, to drive these clubs forward. Because whenever you ask for a fund, they don't really, bother you, or they don't really trouble you in this paperwork and all that stuff. All you need to do is, fill up some forms, say that legit you're going to spend this and this amount for this particular job, and they're going to sanction you the amount. And that's how it goes. And coming to Entrepreneurial Club, we have many ideathons, hackathons, and many competitions going on in every semester. They are huge. They are really huge competitions. And then once you are a finalist, or once you win this competition and you get funding backed by some huge, well-established companies or capital ventures. So your idea is literally backed up. And this happened to my friends group. They had no idea, because just because my friend likes to participate in ideathons, hackathons, he went ahead and did something, and then their idea got funded, and they had no way plans of growing that into a startup, or imagining that they would be backed up by this huge funding. So they had to literally come up with a new business plan and then try to utilize the amount which they were sanctioned. So that's how it goes. But I guess when coming to clubs here in the United States, pretty much every university has really great exposure to all these kind of extracurricular or intracurricular clubs. So that's a good deal here in the United States, in all the universities.
Wow.
Yep.
So please tell us about your Harvard Business School experience. Like, what's the course about and what are you doing over there?
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned, once you are done with your master's, you'll be, you'll have some free time. You'll not be so occupied, and then you'll start thinking, okay, what you have to do next. And as I told you, I was a lot more interested in business. One thing before stepping into the Harvard Business School course, I just want to take one step back and then let you know about my research experiences in business during my bachelor's. So my interest in business didn't start here during my master's. It was all it all began from my bachelor's, where I was really active in a lot of clubs in my university, in PS University, Bangalore. So I hardly attended classes, and it was a huge deal for me, because I was involved in a lot of clubs. When I say clubs, they are CSR is one. CSR stands for Collegiate Social Responsibilities. I hope you guys are aware. Every company has a CSR. They call it Corporate Social Responsibility, and we, as a university club, we call it Collegiate Social Responsibility. So we had a CSR club. We had Rotary Club. We had IEEE, we had IET. So there were so many of these clubs, and I was actively involved in all these clubs parallelly during my bachelor's, and that kind of built my profile really well. Trust me on this. If you really want to get out there to do masters or to do anything, even if you are not really interested in kind of getting into the clubs or working for the clubs, but it's a good deal to get exposure to such clubs, or to work in such areas, because that gives you a lot of exposure. And down the lane, you're going to understand if you're interested in it or not interested in it. But for me, I'm really interested in participating in such clubs, taking leadership initiatives, organizing, managing things. I really like doing this. And that's when I was actively involved in all these clubs. During my first year, I was volunteer. During my second year, I was, we have various domains. So we have a hierarchy of domains, and then I was a domain head. So I was single-handedly leading the club, and the club had more than 250, 250 members or volunteers or the domain heads, all of them included. It had more than 250 members. So it was a
Wow.
great deal to manage these huge clubs because when you get into this field, you really understand what's going on, because it's really hard for you to manage these people, get these various points of view, and then hitting you from all the directions. They're going to say, because you're going to take your decision based on your point of view, and then many people are going to challenge it. They're going to say, question it, challenge it, and you got to deal with so many people. You got to deal with the work. You have to get it done because you are leading it, and that's where I got really good exposure there. We conducted many activities, many programs, mental health issues, funding for orphanages, helping medical health camps in villages, because our university had adopted few villages and few schools. So we were going and putting up free medical camps there. We were training or tutoring students from government schools. So we did this for a very long time, for months and for years together. And we used to also do blood donation drives. So I guess we hit a record. We made a record of collecting almost 1,000 blood units in a single day, which we conducted in the camp. So that was a great experience for me. I would proudly say this. I'm not exaggerating, but it's a really great experience, because when you handle around 250 members and you are gonna set up this huge platform as a blood donation drive and call in more than 500 to 1,000 people to donate blood, you have to take care of any medical emergencies. You have to take care of the finances. You have to take care of the PR. You have to take care of marketing. There's so many things, so many domains, funding, all that. And it was a really great experience for me. And from that point, we had a faculty coordinator for these clubs. So my faculty coordinator looked at me, she called me up, and then she was like, "See, you're good, you're doing a great job." So she was writing a research paper on CSR, actually, social responsibilities. And she told me, "Why don't you, jump in and then contribute, and we both can, present or publish this research paper," is what she proposed. And that was a huge deal breaker for me, because I wasn't, nowhere in my corner of my mind, I had idea, okay, let's do some research apart from technical, technical research, and then do something in social responsibility, and then try to publish it or present it. So I said yes, I jumped in, and then I started working on it. The good deal was all these experiences, which I just mentioned, my club experiences, my managing, the leadership, all these experiences kind of really helped me to write this research paper with her. So I collaborated with her. There's one of my other friend who was the other leader for the club. So we all together presented this paper at an international conference. So we literally flew down to Philippines in Manila, and then we presented our research paper there. So you never know things can where things can take your direction. It all started from volunteering. I was literally one of the volunteers in hundreds of volunteers, and then doing lifting the chairs, lifting the table, setting it up, doing all such work. And that took me literally to Philippines, and then I was presenting a research paper there. So that was a great experience, and that's where it kick-started. That was my first research paper, and then the next research paper, I took it on my own. I started researching. I started writing my papers. I wrote research. I did my research on student leadership, business management, business ethics, ethical leadership, and how it can affect students. So this was my main research focus. And my second paper was again presented and published in Switzerland. There was an international conference in Switzerland. So I flew down to Switzerland, I presented it there, I published it there. That was my second paper. And my third paper was in Santa Clara, California. So I again went there and presented it there. So that was a great, deal breaker for me and my huge foundation for my research and business. Um, so I would say technical would be backed up my degrees, my master's, my bachelor's, and my business side foundation was backed up by all these club experiences, research experiences, and conference presentations and publications. And that's when, once after my master's was done, now I can answer your question, why Harvard Business School? That's when I was, when I had all these experiences, I thought, let's give it a conventional touch, because nobody is going to recognize you if you're going to say you have experience in business and you did that, you did this, unless, they say they see some kind of certificate or a degree there. So I thought, okay, why not? Let's do this. That's when I chose Harvard Business School. I went through their course structure. This was really good, sustainable business strategies. So this was kind of, multidisciplinary of my interest. If you see of all the story I just said, this sustainable business strategies includes my technical experiences from my master's, that's renewable energy, and the business strategies. The ethical business strategies is what comes from my own research and club activities and all that. So this is a good mixture of that course was a good amalgamation of all these stuff, technical and business stuff. So that's when I chose to do that course, and it's a really good course. Trust me, if you guys are interested in something like this, you should go ahead and do it, because it was a great exposure for me to people from all over the world. We had a team, and we had team members from Hong Kong, Canada, Australia, and also in South Africa. There's one person from South Africa as well. So it was really a great experience for me getting into this course and then trying to interact and get to know their point of views. So yeah, that's what I guess answers your question of why Harvard Business School and why this sustainable business
and it was
strategies.
an interesting story.
Yeah, it's really interesting when I go back and look now, and you never know what can things can change. So you always have to give it a try. Even if you're not interested, just give it a try. If it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. If it does work out, then it's going to take you to heights.
Right.
Yeah.
So Rajat, please tell us about your course structure that you are studying in Harvard Business School, and please tell us about the ASU one too.
Yep, sure. About master's at ASU, I chose. I got admitted to an electrical department, and then you can come to ASU and then choose your narrowed down field or specialization. I chose power and energy systems. So we have control systems, we have VLSI design, we have signals and systems, we have nuclear power, and power and energy systems. So all these various specializations, and I choose power and energy systems. The course structure in power and energy systems is pretty hectic as compared to controls or VLSI, signals and systems. And you'll get to know why I say that, because the course structure at ASU is such that you have to complete 30 credits if you're doing a MSc. So MSc is Masters of Science in Engineering. So that's what they call it for non-thesis MS. And for non-thesis MS, you have to complete credits, and along with that, you have to pass MS comprehensive exam. And this exam is they call it comprehensive because this exam has the syllabus for this exam is comprises of all the courses which you have completed throughout your masters. So it's just one exam. You can take it either in your third semester or your fourth semester, and you have to pass it. That's the degree requirements for MSE. Here, the key to note is for MSE, this comprehensive exam, the structure for this is such that it's rigorous. It's not as straightforward as other exams. The thing is, for power and energy systems, you have to complete at least 7 to 8 courses, which are mandatory courses. They are mandatory because they are mandatory.
The comprehensive exam, right?
Yeah,
Mandatory for the
comprehensive.
comprehensive. Okay.
There are a few courses mandatory for you to get this specialization as well. So if you want to get the specialization, you have to mandatorily complete the courses, those courses, and those courses are mandatory as well as for the comprehensive exam, because it makes sense. Because if you want to get that specialization, you have to complete those courses and give the exam. And those number of mandatory courses for power and energy systems are high. Like there are at least 4 to 7 courses you have to complete, because in order to get through the exam. So the exam previously it had a different structure, the questionnaire structure, but for our batch the structure changed. We have something as part A and part B. Part A is where all the mandatory courses questions come from, and part B is a huge list of other courses where you can choose which course you want to answer, which question you want to answer from which course. And in this comprehensive exam, you're going to just get one question from each course. So you literally have to study the entire course for just one question. And if you're going to miss that question, then it's gone. So that's why I call it a bit challenging. And for part A, the mandatory courses, there are 2 questions coming from each course. But for the part B, which I said, there are a list of courses, electives, and all the other courses where you can choose your courses or your questions. There's just one question is going to come from each course. So that's how the curriculum is for power and energy systems. Similarly, on the same lines, if you go and see VLSI or control systems, the mandatory courses for them, it's just 4 courses or 2 courses. For computer engineering, it's just 2 courses. So you just study 2 courses, and you give, even the syllabus for the comprehensive exam is just 2 courses. But for us, it is literally 13 courses. So you have to, at the end of the day, when you sit and study for comprehensive exam, you have to get all these courses at once in your head and then try to give this exam. I'm not scaring you guys, or I'm not threatening you with this exam, but it's doable because we all have passed it. But the only thing is it's challenging. It's not, don't take it as easy as it looks. That's why people what generally do is they give this exam in the 3rd semester. So the exam rule is you can just give it twice in your entire masters. If you are going to fail twice, then your masters, you're not going to get your masters. So you have just 2 attempts. So what people generally do is they in the 3rd semester they give an attempt. If they pass, well and good. If they fail, they have one more chance to give in 4th semester. If you're going to give it in your 4th semester, if you're going to fail, then you have to extend your masters just to write your comprehensive exam. So that's the thing. But yeah, it's doable. It's not impossible, but it's just challenging, and a lot of courses come into picture. And only if you're truly interested in this area, power and energy systems, because all are core courses. Even when they say the part B has a major list of courses which are not mandatory, but even those are core electrical courses. So that's how the course structure at ASU is. And the good thing about course structure is they have variety of courses, from electric vehicles to solar systems to wind energy systems, power electronics, power systems.
So it means that if somebody wants to take courses from wind and solar without taking power systems or power transients like that, so they can take it.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Definitely. You can take transients, you can take reliability, you can take power generation management, power plants, nuclear courses. But the thing is, you have to plan it up accordingly when you're giving your MSc comprehensive exam. So from the 1st semester itself, you have to start ticking down the courses which you're going to answer in your comprehensive exam, because that's how you have to plan. You have to make sure you have enough courses to pass the exam. If you do not have enough courses, it's up to your responsibility that you have to study that course on your own and get through the exam. So that's how we have to plan it, because there is flexibility. You can choose any courses from any area, but the mandatory courses you have to take it. That's if you want a specialization in it. But apart from that, if you're going to choose other electives as such, you have to make sure you plan accordingly so that you can give your comprehensive exam comfortably.
So can you tell us about what are the mandatory courses that you choose in energy and power systems?
So the mandatory courses here were renewable energy power systems and advanced power electronics, transmission and distribution, and power system generation and management. And these were the mandatory courses for clearing the comprehensive exam. Yeah, these are the Part A courses. So from all these courses, you're going to get 2 questions. And in the Part B, you have power system transients, power system reliability. There are nuclear courses.
Oh, it means in Part B, you can choose from wind, from solar, from nuclear, anything.
Yes. Yes, you can.
And these are the subjects from which the questions will not be there in the comprehensive exam, right?
They will be there. There'll be just one question, and you have to choose.
Okay.
You have to choose beforehand which course you're going to answer. The thing is, they made it so tough. You have like, I guess 10 courses in Part B, but they're not going to print all 10 questions of all the 10 courses on your question paper. So what they're going to do is they're going to ask you to fill up a form and ask you to, answer which course or which question you are going to answer from which course. Say, for example, from Part B, I chose to answer transients, reliability, and nuclear systems. And only those questions are printed on my question paper. So every question paper is customized to each student. So they are going to print each question paper differently.
So basically, that question will be dependent on that student whether he's going for solar energy or wind energy or nuclear. Okay.
Oh, it means that if I choose
something,
I have to choose beforehand that I want to take solar energy in this course, in this section, and wind energy in this section. Okay.
Still, we can say that Part B is really good for the student perspective, because the Part A was something you have to do it. And in Part B, you are having some choices that you can do this or this. So still, it's better.
But the challenging thing here is you have to plan this up from your first semester. You have to plan up the courses. You have to look at the list of courses, because the thing is, all these courses are not offered in all the semesters. Few set of courses are only offered for fall. Few courses are only offered for spring. So if you miss one fall, you have to take it in the next fall.
Or else you have to change the subject according to the spring.
Yeah, whichever is offered, you have to take that course, because whichever you want to take is not offered that particular fall. And there are a few other courses which are offered alternatively. If it's offered this fall, then it's not offered next fall. It's directly offered the further fall. So yeah, so they have a course plan. It's like a tabular sheet of PDF copy where they say, for example, fall 2021, fall 2022, fall 2023, and they give list of courses offered. So you can see what courses are offered every fall. You can see which courses are offered alternatively. All that thing, you can see it online. And you have to look at that list. You have to look at your comprehensive exam list. And then you also have to look at these elective lists, which you are interested in, and kind of choose your courses. I'm telling you guys, course selection is one of the challenging tasks when you enter masters, and it's really important. Why? I tell you one thing: you should be comfortable in getting through your masters. That's really important, because your GPA really matters. Why? I tell you, if you choose wrong courses and then you are going to get your GPA down, there are other smart people in the same batch who choose courses very smartly, and then just because they chose an easy course or a good course according to their plans, they get a high GPA, they get a better GPA. So that's how, because the employer doesn't know this fact that, okay, your courses are different from his courses, and that's why his GPA is more than yours. Nobody checks that. All they check is what's your GPA. That's one thing. And the next thing is the amount of whatever you want to learn. If you choose your wrong courses, then whatever you're never gonna get that chance to learn those courses again, because they're not going to be offered until you graduate. So the course selection is really important once you get into the university. You have to sit, work a lot, discuss with seniors, with the immediate seniors, and then discuss with the professors, discuss with your graduate advisor, and then plan it up.
Okay. So what do you think? What do you think? When students can do it?
Definitely, yeah. We all did it. My personal experience, if you guys want to hear, I chose a wrong course in my first semester.
Okay.
Yes. What I did was, and let me tell you, I was taking all precautions. I spoke to seniors, I spoke to professor, I also spoke to my graduate advisor. But the thing I didn't realize is, if one course is easy for Piyush, it's not going to be easy for you, Biswaru. It's like that. So Piyush is going to say, okay, computer solutions for power system course is very easy for me because I'm good at coding. But for me, it's really tough. I cannot get through the course, and literally it's too much for me to take in. So what happens is, once you go and meet Piyush and then talk to him, if you talk only to Piyush, then you're gonna say, okay, it's easy for Piyush. Piyush said you can get through it very easily. Then I'll just take the course, and Piyush is gonna say, okay, it's computer solutions, so it's something related to software, which you have good exposure in the industry, all that. And it's not that tough. It's not challenging. It's gonna take you a lot of time, but you can do it. Is what Piyush told me. So I believed him, and then I went ahead and I took the course. Then I realized it's not my cup of tea. I cannot do it.
You need
So
to
the
have the
point
look from different person's perspective, right?
exactly, that's my point. You have to ask or talk to a number of people, because this was the case with me. I spoke to just one people in my seniors batch, and it was pretty easy for him, because he liked the course and he asked me to take it, and I literally struggled my entire first semester to get through that course. And also that was a problem for me, because I lost one course which I could have covered for my comprehensive exam.
Yeah.
I lost that course. That course was a part of the syllabus for comprehensive exam, but I was pretty sure that I couldn't answer that course, because I wasn't able to complete the course itself. And when they're going to give you just one question out of the entire course, I was pretty sure that I couldn't answer it. So I had no hopes to answer that question in my comprehensive exam. So I lost my one course there, and that's literally a loss for you. Trust me, the amount of time, money, and energy you put in each course is huge. So don't take it light. One course, if it's gonna be a loss for you, then it's a huge loss. So choose your courses very wisely. You have to talk to your seniors, take different perspectives, look into the course. What is it about? If you're really interested in it, then take it. Or else there's also option of dropping the course as soon as you take it. You kind of experience it for 2 weeks. There's a deadline for dropping of course.
Yeah.
Say you start your course in August, the deadline would be somewhere in September end. So you can drop it then and then take another course, or just drop it and then take course in your summer or in your next semester and cover it up. That's a smart thing to do, rather than keep the course and then go through it. But yeah, that your course selection is very important once you get into your masters.
And what about the thesis option? You have told about the non-thesis option, that they have to give a comprehensive exam. What about the thesis option?
Yep. For thesis option, ASU doesn't give you an admit for thesis directly. Right. They always gives you admit for non-thesis option. What you have to do is you have to come here, get through your first semester. You would have done your research before coming to the universities. You would have looked at the list of professors, what research they are doing, what projects they're working on, because everybody have their own websites. They have their websites for their research group. So there people are already doing research in their group, and you can contact them directly via LinkedIn or via the ASU email ID, because the contact information is mentioned in that website. Contact them, ask them. So you would have done your research. So what you do is you come to ASU, you complete your first semester, and then approach this professor in your first semester itself. saying that you're interested to do this thesis or work on this research project, which they are already working on. Or if you have something new to come up with, you can approach him, you can ask him, so this is what I want to do. Is there something near to your idea which they are already doing, or is there nothing at all? Is there something you can start new? All these things you kind of have to set up an appointment with the professors. There's no hard and fast rule that you can speak just with one prof. You can go ahead and set up an appointment with every professor you would like to speak every day, and then talk to them, give them your ideas, discuss with them research opportunities, thesis opportunities. Make your face familiar with them so that they'll understand. Okay, so there was some guy who is interested to do thesis from the next semester, so let's keep an eye out for him. So something like that, because professors are really busy. Even when they take your classes, they don't remember the faces. They hardly remember the faces, but they don't remember the names. So it's hard for them to kind of recognize and remember people. Yeah, I was telling, so once you approach the professors, there are different kind of professors. Few professors tell you, okay, you can start away with your research, get to know the team and then come on board. There are a few other professors who are going to tell you, you know what, work for a few weeks for me, volunteer work. So they're not going to pay you. You're not going to be officially working for them. But they're going to say voluntary, they're going to give you some research papers. They're going to ask you to write a report on it, or kind of understand the research paper, come back to go back to them and then discuss about it. So they're going to give you some task to do, and then just because they wouldn't have known you, they can't judge you just from your GPA. So they're going to give you some task and then ask you to discuss or read some research papers, come back with some ideas, try to explain it to them or present it to them. And then they're going to look at you for a month or so. And then if they're satisfied, then they're going to call you on board. And then they're officially going to sign you up for master's thesis. So when a professor agrees for you to take you on board, you can go ahead and apply for master's thesis option and then convert your degree to master's thesis. And then you can discuss with your prof regarding funding. So either he's going to fund your tuition or he's going to pay you hourly. All that you can discuss, and then you can convert from that semester itself.
Okay, so while doing thesis option, so do a student need to give comprehensive exam?
No. So thesis option doesn't have comprehensive exam. All it has is thesis. Your professor would like you to take few courses. So I mean, not particularly the mandatory courses for renewable energy systems, but it depends on research, with whatever research you are working on. So to back that up, to lay a foundation for that research, he might ask you to take few courses which you have to take, and you are free to take any other course apart from those, based on your but the thing is, you have to talk to your professor every time you take some decision, because you're working for him, you're working for his research, and he wants you to take particular things, or he wants you to work on something. So you have to talk to him before deciding your courses. So that's there. And you wouldn't have any comprehensive exam. The one thing is, at the end of your thesis, you have to defend your thesis. You have to write a report and then defend your thesis. It would be like a normal, PhD thesis dissertation, but not that serious to such an extent. But you will have a panel, you have to defend your research and then get through the thesis. Most of the times, your professor would be on the panel, and then he would be very sure of whether you can defend or you can get through the thesis or not. So he's going to prepare you well. If he's going to think you're not that prepared, then he's going to ask you to extend your thesis for a semester or for a month or for a 2, or maybe for summer, and then kind of fix a date and then defend it and then get through your thesis and your degree. That's it. You need not give a comprehensive exam for thesis option.
Okay, and but we need to give the exams of the courses that we are taking in each semester. Okay.
You have to give the assignments, projects, or exams, or whatever. Each course has a curriculum, so you have to do all that.
Oh.
So the pattern that is being followed in ASU, like the student will enter in non-thesis option, then he'll be given the entry in thesis or not. So is this pattern being followed by any other university in the United States? If
It
you
depends.
know about it.
Yeah, it depends. Most of the universities do this because the general trend is that they don't believe our undergrad GPA. The professors won't.
Okay.
So what they do believe is only your master's GPA. That's why they want to look at you for your, first how you perform in your first semester, and then only that GPA they're going to believe. So most of the times in most of the universities, it's like this. You have to get into a non-thesis, then go to thesis. In a very few universities where you are into, getting into thesis and PhD, a master's with PhD program, there you can directly get into thesis. But I guess at most of the places, you have to go get in as a non-thesis student itself, because they want to look
Okay.
at how you perform in your master's rather than what your GPA is in your undergrad.
Okay. So what about the internship opportunities and funding? You can tell it shortly.
Internships, I would say it really depends on person to person, how you act smart and how you apply, try to get on different platforms, try to catch hold of various professors and then get it done. So what I did was I got lucky and got in touch with a professor, and he had someone in industry. A regular email, general email was forwarded to all of us, and that's where I applied. I got an internship. My first internship was at Nexenton Corporation here in Arizona itself. I worked for I worked as distributed energy resources analysis intern. It was a really great opportunity for me because I worked directly under the principal consultant, who happens to be now the vice president of the company, and it's a huge company, and he was coming up with something new. Idea, new business plan, and that's where I kind of got exposure for both technical and business perspective for energy storage systems and solar systems, and got a lot of exposure in all these various modeling tools. That was a very basic, good foundation for me, industry foundation, I would say. And I'm very thankful to my manager. His name is Sundar Venkatraman. So that was a great experience in my first internship. And going ahead, I was kind of applying to many internships here and there, online, offline, at universities. When I was doing my master's, I went and attended many conferences, many IEEE conferences, many business conferences. I presented papers at a few places. I volunteered at a few places because I was the vice chairman for IEEE ASU student chapter.
Yeah.
So we have our own student chapter at ASU, and I was the vice chairman or vice president for it. And that's when I got again, these funding and opportunities to go and participate in IEEE conferences. So I participated in various conferences, tech and business, both. And that's when I got more contacts of, industry contacts. And that's how I bagged my second internship, which was at Mortensen Constructions. It's in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. So there again, I was lucky enough to work for a market director. So he was a market director for Energy Storage Group. His name is Brent Berglund, and I was really glad to work under him. I got a lot of exposure on, again, business development, business integration plans. Since I had a foundation on all these modeling tools on my previous internship, that kind of helped me on my technical experiences at this second internship as well. So those are really good 2 internship experiences for me. And I was also on the verge of getting a full time at Mortensen just before COVID hit. And then COVID hit, and then the rest of the story. So, but internship opportunities at ASU are really good. I mean, pretty much everybody in my batch got an internship. maybe not 2 internships, but at least 1 internship. Most of them have got. And by graduation, most of them, almost every one of them were placed. So at least in my batch, our batch got lucky, because my previous batch were struggling. But I guess that happens alternatively. If a batch struggles and the next batch, gets through, and the next batch struggles again. I don't know if that's the trend, but our batch got through full times and internships. Also, there were many opportunities for for all my classmates. Most of them got internships and full times.
That's great. And can you tell us about the visa experience of yours?
Visa. The thing was, I had come to US before in my bachelor's for one of my internship during my bachelor's. I did my internship in Rutgers University. So while coming to the US during my bachelor's for that internship, I had to apply for a F1 visa. And that was during my 3rd year. And I wasn't aware much of, the hype the people give for, visa interviews and all these things. They really scare you. Sometimes they say they're going to reject you, they're going to ask you all these questions. If you're going to get rejected, it's going to be again a loss of a year, all that stuff, all that hype which you usually hear when you go to visa interviews or when you're applying to masters. I was totally out of that area, because I was not applying for masters, I was going for internship. So I didn't speak or I didn't talk to anyone regarding visa interviews. All I did was, follow the online procedures. I got an internship. They told me you have to come on an F1 visa, because that was some exchange program. So I gave my interview. It was a very normal interview. There was no hype. There was no nervousness. It was a very straightforward interview, because that's all the psychology. That's when I realized, when I actually entered my visa interview for my master's, because I had to get one more visa because my university changed. Then there was this hype, because I was talking to so many people, and then all these various experiences bombarding to me, and then telling, okay, this is going to happen, this might happen, that might happen. And I was actually nervous during my interview, which I was not when I was taking my F1 visa initially during my 3rd year. That kind of made me realize, okay, most of the people, you just get conscious by, talking a lot to people, getting, they're going to scare you. But visa interviews are really not scary. You need not be nervous or, get tensed about it. It was my visa interviews, both of the visa interviews were really smooth. My first one was almost, I never knew how I got through, and it was very, regular, straightforward. My master's visa interview was, I was a bit nervous because of all these talks. My interviewer didn't ask many, any kind of many technical questions. He asked me, why power and energy systems? Why do you want to go to ASU? And who is going to fund you? Is there enough funding? And are you going to settle there down, or are you going to come back? What do your parents do? If you're coming back, are there any, family attachment to here in India, or are you going to, stay and settle down in the US? So these were a couple questions he asked me, and
the general questions that they usually ask. Yeah,
exactly. That's all they asked, and she said, "Yeah, your visa is approved," and I was out. So that was not a very, not such.
It was a hassle-free process for you.
Yeah, it was a really normal experience, not any challenge.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great.
So thank you very much, guys. And this was our first video with the ASU. And thank you very much, Rajat, for helping us out making this video. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you guys, for having me on this platform, and it was
definitely, it will help with many students. Thank you so much, Rajat.
Thank you so
much. Thank you.